Hi everybody, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have for you a book review of Not a Happy Family by Shari Lapena. This is maybe the third book I have read of Shari Lapena's. I read A Stranger in the House, An Unwanted Guest, and this one. And she is one of those writers that I will say for me is a hit or a miss. I don't love her, but I don't hate her. A Stranger in the House, I really didn't care for. I found it boring. I found it bland. I just didn't really care about any of the characters. And then An Unwanted Guest really shook me. It drew me in. I found that extremely interesting, and I was like, okay, maybe I will keep reading more of her stuff, because at that point I had been contemplating whether or not I wanted to try any more of her books. And that one kind of put me back on the side. I was like, okay, I'll try some more. And this was the newest one that I tried, and it landed somewhere in the middle for me. It was better than A Stranger in the House, but not quite as good as An Unwanted Guest. It was a slow starting book, but like the middle portion was actually pretty well done, but I was kind of over it by the end. So this one was a little bit all over the place for me, but it wasn't necessarily bad. But this follows a family that is very badly strained. That there's a big altercation at an Easter dinner. So it's a mom, a dad, and their three children plus their significant others, and a cleaning lady that has been with the family for years. She was actually a nanny when the children were younger, and she just evolved into being the cleaning lady, and she's kind of like a second parent to the kids. So this is the people that are at this dinner, and this altercation goes down where the father, who is kind of this mean, stuck-up, narcissistic, he's really horrible to his kids, just up and announces that they are selling the house. And I should say that this family was quite wealthy. They had a very sizable inheritance that is laid out for these kids, despite the fact that the relationships aren't that good. And he says that he's going to sell the house. Well, the oldest daughter, Catherine, her name is Catherine, had always been promised that she was going to get the house, so she was a little bit upset. But all of the children are, because they see this as kind of the first step towards something more sinister happening. And so there's a big fight between everybody in the family, and all of the kids end up storming out. So that is like the setup in the beginning. And then later that night, the mom and the dad are very gruesomely murdered in their home. And now the investigation is following each of the children, their significant others, because it is believed that the motive for the murders is the inheritance for these kids. It was discovered that the dad was planning on changing his will, and the kids wanted to put a stop to that before he was actually able to. That's the theory, at least. So, like, we're following each of the children, what their motives might be, what beefs they each had with their parents, their individual issues, what they have going on at home, and how it plays into what happened with the argument. And we have a lot of twists and turns around the way. Each of the kids has a motive. Each of them has an alibi that we find out later was actually a lie, so they don't really have an alibi. So it starts looking really bad for these children. But they all kind of suspect this one brother that had the most strained relationship with his father. And part of the reason they believe it is because the dad's murder was a lot more gruesome than the mother's. The mother was strangled, but the father was stabbed multiple times. It showed that it was like very violent and very angry. So the sisters, Catherine and Jenna, suspect their brother, but they still want to cover for him. He's their brother. They love him, and they admit that the father pretty much ruthlessly attacked his son, like, for years and years and years. So, like, he's emotionally strained and they believe that he might have just snapped. They don't think he's heartless or anything like that. They just think that he finally cracked under the pressure. And of course, he's feeling resentful that they suspect him in the first place, and it makes him feel really ostracized and really demonized. He believes that nobody in his family cares about him. And so the relationships in this are just really, really twisted and really interesting, seeing the bonds between different characters and what's going on in particular situations. So I really, really enjoyed that aspect of it. The characters were very, very well done. But there were portions where it was just kind of slow and not a lot was happening. And then when things did start happening, it was more like, I don't know how to say this without sounding like I hated the book, because I didn't hate it. It sounded like the twist when they started coming, it was just for the sake of having twists. Some of them made perfect sense, and then others were just kind of like, what? And like, I still don't understand the point behind them. There's one twist involving the oldest daughter. If you've read the book, you'll know what I'm talking about. For the life of me, even after completing this book, I don't understand that twist. I'm like, what was the point in that? It seemed like it was there to pad the runtime or to make her look more guilty or something. Like, I don't know. But it was just, I don't know. This was an inheritance story, a thriller, yes, but it didn't seem like it set apart from anything that was similar that I've ever read. Like, I've read plenty of other books that were about inheritance problems, like people due to inherit a fortune and then something happening as a result of that. Like, I will probably remember those books over this one, to be honest, but it wasn't bad. And if you're a fan of Shari Lapena, you will most likely enjoy this. It's like I said, I'm in no way saying that it's bad. I just wasn't in love with it. Yeah, go ahead and check this out. I will leave a link down in the description where you can find it. And that is all that I have for you guys today. If you like this video, please make sure to like, comment, follow me on the social medias, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.